Before I came to a high school group, I never really thought about God, but I was actually dating the person at the time who invited me, and I was a total simp. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that if that's what you want, I guess. I was a freshman in high school, and I literally knew nothing about the Bible. I knew Jesus existed, but I don't know why he existed, so I didn't really care. I was invited to a high school Bible study, and I was like, ugh, I don't want to freaking go to this. This is gonna be lame AF. I'm gonna go one time, and then I don't have to ever go again. That's clearly not what happened. So I went, and I remember being actually really struck by the teaching. The passage that they taught on was Matthew 7, and that addresses hypocrisy, and I had all these preconceived notions that Christians were just stupid hypocrites. And I remember being like, dang, this is kind of lit. Maybe I should come back. I also saw everyone's relationships were really good, and people are actually really curious about my life. And I kept coming to that home church, and a couple months after the Lord kept working on my heart, a woman named Jenna, who was my discipler for 4.5 years, she shared the gospel with me, and I was like, wow, I've never heard that before, even though I probably sat under 8 gospel teachings at that point, but sometimes it just takes a minute to register. I received Christ that night, and then COVID lockdown happened a few weeks later, and I stayed going to Zoom home church, and I was pretty much just immediately oh, if stuff about Jesus is true, then I want to fully commit to this. I started doing evangelism. I started sharing Christ with my friends. 3 of my friends came to Christ in high school, and that was super encouraging for me. A couple of which are still following and leading for God today. So that's really cool. I felt important in the high school group. I felt like the Lord had actual work for me to do there. Unique gifts that he'd given me, and I felt like I had real purpose there. And then I remember I heard about the college group being a thing, and I was like, that is so cool. I want to do that. I want to move in the ministry house. I did not even really know what a ministry house was. I remember I went on a college cell retreat my junior year of high school, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Everyone is so old, and I don't know, I like that. I respected people there. I met new friends, and they, I don't know, made me feel welcomed. And I guess going into my senior year, the college group was actually starting to become more of a real thing, and I knew I wanted to move into the ministry house, but I think the actual idea of that approaching was starting to become a little terrifying of oh, I'm gonna have to live with people and actually learn how to resolve conflict in relationships, and people are gonna see that I'm kind of a butthole sometimes. And it was honestly a pretty difficult transition. I was lucky enough to already be close friends with some of the girls in my group, but I remember in high school group I felt like I had a huge role and a purpose there, and in the college group I was like, I don't know a lot of these people, I don't know what I'm doing. I was reaching out to people in my school, and no one came to home church for an entire year, and I felt pretty aimless. I also, because I was one of the youngest people in our group, I was like, oh, all these people are older than me and they know way more, and that brought a ton of insecurity. But I think what the Lord has shown me the last almost a year and a half being in the college group is he wants to use me just as much as he wants to use people who have been following God for way longer than I have. I think something that's really awesome about getting to be a high school group leader after being a student is getting to do for other people what someone did for me of in discipleship. I met with a woman named Jenna every week for a long time, and she taught me a lot about God. And getting to do that for another student who was my age when I came to Christ, and actually getting to see them mature spiritually and actually put God at the center of their lives has been the coolest thing ever. So I honestly would not trade what the Lord has given me for anything.